All right, so we're at CES 2023 this year. We got to try out the PSVR2, and we got to play the new Horizon Call of the Mountain, the demo for that game, which we were really excited about. I want to talk a little bit about the game, a little bit about the good and the bad that we experienced with the PSVR2 headset. This was the first time we ever tried it ourselves, so it's pretty cool, but we're at a convention, not ideal locations. But talking about the game, I think the game looked really good. The game shows a lot of potential. I think it's going to be a pretty popular game. You know, this was obviously just a demo. Visually, though, the game looked, it was pretty gorgeous. The colors really popped. It looked really good. It was, you start out on the boat, you're going through, you get a bow and arrow, so you get to shoot a bow and arrow, you get to climb a mountain. It really reminded me of the Climb 2. The game itself, I think, has a lot of potential. Getting into the headset, some of the things I really liked, I actually really liked the facial, the haptics in the headset. That was actually pretty cool. It was subtle. It wasn't too abrupt or jarring or take you out of that moment, but there's a couple times, you're riding that boat and one of the big creatures goes over top of you and the hands vibrate, the head vibrates. It's a good correlation. It kind of just adds to the immersion just a little bit, but it doesn't take you out of it. So that I was pretty impressed with. The eye tracking tech seemed to work really well. When they were setting up the demo, he was actually using the controller and he was telling me to actually gaze at the things that he wanted me to select. So like I would look at the menu stuff and then he would hit the X button or whatever to select it. The eye tracking seemed to work really, really well, and it was spot on everywhere I looked in the menu set, like calibration and stuff. It just seemed to work really well. So I'm excited to see what they'll do with that. I think the controllers were nice. I think the headset was comfortable. Everything about the headset I really liked, but there was some issues that we ran into with tracking. And from everybody else that's been at CES this year, they've said the same things that we've talked to. They had tracking issues too. So I don't really think it's so much the hardware itself. I think it's probably the environment we're in, with all the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and people and just all the craziness. I think that messed up the tracking probably. So from the early reports of people trying it, they didn't talk about those issues. So hopefully once we get these things in our homes, in a month or so from now, hopefully we don't have those issues. We don't run into anything like that. That was one big issue. The game did also crash towards the end, so the game completely crashed out, and there were some other people that said it crashed for them too. But obviously, I don't think we're gonna have these kind of problems in home. But there was also some weird things going on with the screens. I mean, obviously, you're using the Fresnel lenses still, and you got the OLED screens, which OLED screens is a good thing. But in the PSVR1, I always kind of noticed that kind of a haze in the background that kind of always moved with you. It moved with the headset when you would look up in the sky and stuff. And I noticed that just a little bit in this headset still, and especially when I looked up at the sky and bright images. It was kind of weird. I'm not really sure how to perfectly describe it, but it was definitely something there. And it was everything just kind of seemed like a soft image to me compared to what I'm kind of used to seeing in some of the headsets lately. But overall, I'm still very excited for the PSVR2, and I'm really excited to see, what it is like once it's in my house, and not in a convention center with a bunch of people and a bunch of interference. So far, I was really impressed with the headset and the hardware. I think it's going to be something that's really going to, help the market, make it grow. And one of the biggest things is GT7. Gran Turismo 7 was announced with full VR support at launch. I think that is going to be fantastic. That's going to be a system seller, just like I think, the Horizon Call of the Mountain, I think is also going to be a system seller. So really a pretty cool experience. We rushed into CES. This was the first thing we tried was PSVR2 because we just couldn't wait to get our hands on it. And that was our first appointment. So we got lots and lots of videos coming up. We've been testing and trying so many different things. Tomorrow is another day jam-packed of appointments. We get to try a bunch of the coolest, latest new tech and hardware, and we can't wait. So make sure you subscribe, check out all the videos. We got a ton of stuff coming this weekend.